Hello, my sweet, lovely followers. I hope that you are enjoying the Pink Parfait junk journal that we are working on. And today we are going to make some lace, big, like page tags, I guess we're going to say. We'll call them tags, okay? And how I've started is, this is some leftover packaging from something I bought the other day, and I just covered it with a vintage music piece of paper, and I covered the other one with one music paper from a hymnal. So we've kind of got a white background and then a beige background. Now, this idea is from my sweet, sweet friend over at 507 Willow House Journals, and Leslie just kept layering on lace. So here we go again, another opportunity for me to get out of my box, because I would have just laid like one or two pieces of lace. I think she had like 5 layers. So we'll see how many layers I can get. We're going to make these 2 that are going to go into our journal. So what you can tell is I kind of pulled out every piece of lace I have. Now, the way I keep my lace is the same way that I keep all of my fibers and things like that. This is, if you can kind of see, it's one of those pieces of foam board, and I went and bought a big one, and then I cut them down, and I cut them. You can make them any size that you want. Mine were originally sized to go into, you remember we used to buy those photo boxes over at Michael's? You would always get 3 for $10. Well, I used to do a lot of teaching and traveling, so I kept all my stuff. See, I would cut them just to fit in those boxes. Well, I don't use those boxes anymore. And so that's what I keep everything on. I take it off the rolls or out of packages, because I personally find that if I can't see it, I'm not going to use it. So that's what we're going to start with. So I have bought some of this, is absolutely phenomenal. Guess where I got it? You're going to know. It's Temu. And the sad thing is I'm still waiting on my Temu order that I ordered last month, okay? So I think all these tariffs are really gonna hurt us crafters from the perspective of, you know, where can we go get all these gorgeous trim things and things for junk journaling, because we're not gonna be able to get them. So I don't mind if I paid more, because, oh my gosh, I paid nothing, right? Because it's from Temu. The trick for me now is, can I get it? It's been over a month, so I'm probably going to get one of their coupons, but what do I care about a coupon? I don't want the coupon, I want my stuff. Because like I said, I ordered it so long ago. Anyway, so we're going to use up my stuff, because I am not a hoarder. However, in the rest of my house, you would never say Diane's a hoarder. I'm absolutely not. I did a Swedish death clean in 2019 after my one daughter died in a car accident. And I realized that I had brought to Florida from Virginia, where I lived for over 30 years, a lot of stuff that was kind of like my kids' stuff, quote, I was keeping for them. Well, then I made them take most of their stuff. But then I got here and I was like, why did you bring all this stuff here? So a few years later, like I said, when she died, I went through everything I owned. I went through all my scrapbooks that I had made for each kid, and I went, excuse me, and pulled out everything, and I made a box for each one of them, and I sent them the boxes. So I have cupboards in my living room, dining room, everywhere that are empty. Yes, that makes me very happy. I don't want to have all this stuff. And so, anyway. Now, when it comes to my craft room, you might say, wow, Diane, you have a lot of stuff. Diane does have a lot of stuff. Diane buys a lot of stuff. I always like, oh, I need that. Oh, I need that. So the part of me that's different is that when I first started crafting, 30 some years ago, I had a full-time job, and I created like a big craft room for myself, and then all my friends saw what I was doing, and they were like, oh, well, can we like hang out with you and make stuff? And then I started teaching, and so I felt like I had a good job, and I could buy things, but I felt like God said to me, you could buy stuff, Diane, but unless you share it, you're not buying any more stuff. And so I have a studio here. I had a studio in Virginia. where I have people come over all the time and they always say, it's like a store. I'm like, yeah, it's like a store at my house. You're exactly right. And so they can use anything they want at my house. That's just kind of that's what I do. Okay, so we need a piece on the side of that doesn't compete. So I think I'm gonna pick some of the creamy ones to go on here. How about if we tried that? Yeah, I can put that on there. Okay, so I have to put my thinking cap on like Leslie and just keep layering, Diane, just keep layering. Let's move this one out of the way for a second. Okay, now you can tell this is a piece that I got. I used part of it and then I didn't bother putting it back on a card. So I do have a bag of some additional like little scrappy pieces that I just pulled out of. Anyway, so as I started to say to you, okay, this is going to be interesting. This does not want to kind of stick on there, does it? I do have a lot of craft stuff. Now I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family home in Florida that I'm so blessed. I moved here right before every price went up and I got this brand new gorgeous house. And so I have 1 bedroom, the extra bedroom set up as a guest room with a queen bed. The second smaller bedroom is set up with a trundle bed. So I have 2 twin beds in there. And then the rest of the room is IKEA cabinets full of stuff. Yes, Diane has a lot of stuff. Anyway, okay. Now see, this is gonna be hard, just like the video that you're going to see before this one, where it looked so simple what she was doing. And now here I'm going, well, why would I cover that up? See, this is how my head is working. Why would I cover that up? Yeah, why would I cover that? Okay, Diane, stop. Now that I can understand. Okay, so let's cut this piece off. I don't know where I got this from. Oh, I think this was some kind of a piece of clothing that I got and I cut apart for the trim. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay, now that, look, I can see putting that on top of there. Let's put it that way. Now again, am I going to be able to make all this stick? I don't know. Let's try the bigger. Hopefully it'll work. I really wanted to use the dry glue because I don't want to get my fingers so sticky that I can't do this, right? Okay. Yeah, this will be interesting. I don't think I'm going to be able to be like her. I don't think I'm going to be able to put 7 layers. Okay, first of all, it's not sticking. Okay, and my hands are already sticky. Let me get a wipe, because you can't really work with stuff when you got, whoops, sticky hands. See, I think that's just so beautiful the way it is. Why do I want to add stuff? Okay. This is gonna be a test of my head, right? Now see, I could put that on there. I can get around that because like I'm adding. Okay, so the video that came out yesterday, I talked a lot in there about, again, I sat down to make something that I watched people do. And I was like, I can do that. I'm really good at that. And it was so frustrating making the page tabs. And one of my tips became, Diane, you have to make this Diane's version. Stop. Like, don't get all freaked out if it doesn't look like somebody else's. Okay, that's what I have to, oh, look, that didn't even want to stick. Okay. How are we going to get that on there? So I think I'm going to end up learning the same thing and telling you the same thing. You got to make it yours, Diane. Make what works for you. Find my own style. Okay, yeah, the glue stick does work better when you can get it to stick down. Okay, now that looks pretty. Yeah, like I'm liking that. Why do I have to add all these layers? What's the deal with that? Okay, look at this piece that I got. Oh, whoa. Okay, that's way too big. Look at this one. Oh, this one's so beautiful. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Now see, I could see, oh wait, I could see putting that at the top and like tying a bow. Okay. Well, again, I think this is going to be my lesson. Diane, you got to make it Diane's way. Right? Okay, let's put this back on there. I don't know where the pin went for that one. I'm going to end up probably making more of these. I was thinking I was just going to make 2. And I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, now that is stunning. Isn't that just gorgeous the way it is? Yes, Diane, it is. Okay. Now, see, that's not taking away from what I have. That's not taking away yet. Let's see. Oh, and look at this. Don't ask me where I got this. Isn't this one pretty? What if we put that like there? Okay, let's try that there. I haven't used this. I think I've used this once. I didn't get a big piece of it. I think somebody gave that one to me. I think that's where that came from. I wonder if I should turn on my glue gun because I feel like I can't really get this. Okay, let me get a piece of paper for a second. Oh, you just cut apart what you printed to use, Diane. Okay, let's do that. Let's lay this on here and see if I can get the glue. Of course, get back in the camera. Trying to get lots of glue just on that little strip. Let's see if that'll work. Okay. Now let's see if that'll stay down. And if this stuff doesn't stay down, I'm going to end up gluing it with my glue gun. Oh my gosh. Okay, now that's really pretty. Okay. So before I glue this down, do I want to add something else to it? I have these beautiful appliques. I think that takes away from both things. Not working, Diane. What else do we have? Okay, look at this that I got from Timo. Oh, can you tell I haven't even cut it apart yet? You know what this is? This is, I think they call this a necklace or something. To be honest, I think they call this like, not a necklace. For the neckline is what I'm trying to say. And so I think there was like $2.50. So my thought was I was going to cut out around these things. So for right now, I'm just doing them as white and cream. Okay, look at this cool piece that I have. Look at this one, has little pearls on it. Oh, it's beautiful. That would be gorgeous on the bottom. Okay, let's do that. You know what? I'm going to have to turn my glue gun on. There's no way that that glue is going to stick on there. Okay. So I'm going to stop this for a second, and I'm going to turn my glue gun on and get it ready. And then I'll come back and we'll play. I think this is warmed up a little bit. And I pulled this piece off. We're going to use glue gun to attach it. That's going to be... And I got my little finger protector. Because even though this is on low, I do not feel like... Oh, that's stunning. Look at that. And you know what? As I said, I need to be Diane's way, right? I love that. I think I'm just going to glue that on. Okay, let's put that on there. Use the finger, Diane. Use the finger that doesn't hurt. Okay, a little bit too wide. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay, I love that. And I love the music showing through. Does it really need something else? Okay, over on here, I feel like I want to add this at the bottom, that ruffle at the bottom. I think that would look really good. So for me, this low temp glue gun might be the best solution, or the best way to make this. I know Kathy from Kathy's Garden always talks about why people ask her, why do you use a glue gun? Because when you're making a video, like, you can't sit there and wait forever while something's drying, you know. So, there we go. Okay, then I just found this piece. Oh, here's another piece that I got from Timo. This is definitely a lace necklace. Do you see how this like would lay on you? Oh, I almost am freaking out about trying to take it apart. So where would it would go great on a journal, wouldn't it? I'm trying to see if I trim this, could we use it like as the top, right? Oh, isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Okay, see, maybe because I have very different pieces of lace than she has. Mine, what is this, more embroidery than just plain lace? Okay, let me gently, hold on, I gotta put a glue stick in here so that it'll be ready when I'm ready. Let me get the glue stick in there. Okay, I gotta take that off. I can't do stuff with that on my finger when I'm cutting. Okay, let's see. Hopefully this will not fall apart. Oh no, I do that. Okay. So this is tricky. You gotta figure out like where you're gonna trim it from, right? Well, let's trim this, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. I am just gonna trim this across here. Again, this was probably $3. So am I gonna freak out if something doesn't work? Nope, I'm sure not. Look at that. Okay, that is gorgeous. So let's even that up. And we are gonna lay that along the top. And you know what? Like I said, Diane's doing this Diane's way. Thank you, Leslie, for your ideas. You prompt me to try new things, and that part I love. Oh, you're doing it again, Diane, see? I start touching stuff without my little gluey finger, my protected finger. Oh, wow. Okay, I am very happy with both of these. Look, I think I'm just gonna let's put something on the top of that, and that's just, it's so gorgeous. And I love this one too. So this needs something across the top. What will we put? Let me pile that back in my stash. I might have to get some, like I said, other paper out to do some more. And then I'm sure you're going to say, well, Diane, how's that going to work in your journal? So that should be the second part of this video, right? Actually putting it into the Pink Parfait. Okay, all those pieces. Oh, these are beautiful. Okay, now what do we want to put on the top? So what she did was she put a big bow on the top of stuff. I mean, bows are okay. They're just not totally my thing. So I'm wondering if I take a piece of paper. Now a bow, I mean, I could consider this bow. That's like, no, that's too much. See, this came in something somebody gave me, and I haven't really used it yet. You know, oh my gosh, wait. Oh, look, I should have used this on the bottom instead of this. Can I get that off? No, I didn't. Okay, I'll have to make another one. This looks real cutesy, and this is more sophisticated, which is really more my style. Okay, let's figure out what we're going to do on the tops, Diane. What would I get? Okay, I'm going to stop for a second. Let me think and go get some stuff. I found it. I figured it out. Yes. So I was trying to figure out, should it be paper? Should it be fabric? And then I decided, Diane, you have all this paper that I've run through my embossing machine. Let's just do that, because I wanted some kind of like a texture to it, because we're dealing in texture. So this is just brown paper that I've run through, again, my embossing machine. Look how beautiful that is. Yes. Okay. And then I had done a piece of white. So we are going to put those on there. Yes, that makes me happy, happy, happy. I feel like this is Diane's style, right? This is Diane's version of Leslie's. Good idea, but it's Diane's version. And then you're going to do this, and you're going to make your version, right? Yours is not going to be the same as mine. That's supposed to be cool. Wow, okay. Well, it's not burning me, but I wouldn't say it's super cool. Okay, let's just, yeah. There we go. Okay. Oh, okay, I'm really happy. I think this is just gorgeous. So there's my first white one. And then we're going to do the beige one. Whoops. Let's put the glue onto here. So do you have a multi-temp glue gun? I had to buy myself a new one a couple months ago. And so I got this really nice big one, and it had a stand built into it, and I loved it till I didn't realize it was it was just hot. There's no other temperature. That's how I burnt my fingers really, really bad, actually. And so I had to go buy yet another one. So I'm aware of that you have to have a cooler one. Okay, that one's really pretty. Oh, I'm happy. Look, we've got 2 done. Let's make 2 more. So I went and did the same thing. I made them a little bit smaller. I don't know what, my voice. I'm so glad I'm going to the doctor this Friday because he needs to run I need to get my thyroid tested because something is messed up. Oh, we got this one too. Let's see what this one will look like. I've got so much gorgeous stuff. Okay. Now this is just, maybe I do layers this way, like put that in the middle, right? Okay, so maybe that's going to be on the top. Okay, let's do that. Let's trim that. I'm going to use that one, but I think I'm going to do it, like I said, I'm going to do it in layers. So then maybe that's what I wasn't paying attention to when she was making this. That's what she was doing. And I definitely want to use a piece of this. Whew, that is just gorgeous. We're going to use that on there. Okay, get my pins back into these things. There's a pin. Okay, so we've got, what else do I have on this card? Oh, here I got a piece of it. Let's do that. Okay, let's do a piece of that. So maybe this can be underneath there. Maybe this is going to be like the topper part, right? Maybe we tried that. And then look at this one. Oh, this one is just gorgeous too. I keep saying that, but I feel like I got so blessed when I was able to find all these extremely unusual pieces of lacy embroidery stuff. Okay, that looks good. There's this little piece. Okay, wait, you got lots more over here then. Go on your other cards. Oh, that's cotton. We've got this one. I could do a piece of this. Look at that. Okay. So maybe mine's different because it is lace, but it isn't, right? Maybe that's what it is. Okay, we already used that piece. And we use some of that. Okay, what do we got over here? I think I already used that giant piece, didn't I? Now I'm forgetting what I even took out. Oh no, I didn't do that. No, stop. I'm sorry, my neighbor's dog is barking, and so she is flipping out. So if you start hearing barking, I will turn it off. Okay, so we're going to put that on there. Okay, what other stuff? I've got, okay, here's some more white stuff. Okay, we could put that on there. Okay, maybe now I'm getting the point of layering it. Let's put that on there. Okay, that's going to be on the bottom. So let's put it on like that. Now, how I'm going to glue this, I have no idea. Maybe we'll just try the edges, see if we can get it on there with the edges. And then trim it. So I'm thinking of how I'm going to use these is because they're nice big cards. And this Pink Parfait junk journal is where I'm doing the 10 ways to love study. I can put a lot of information on the back of these cards, can't I? Yes, I can. Sure can. Because they're nice big cards. Okay, that one would go in there. And then we layered this one. Okay, let's put that on. That one we know is going to go on the bottom. Okay, let's put that on there. Let's see, maybe if I just kind of go squiggly like that. Maybe that's the best way to put it down. I don't think there's really a right direction for this. Okay, that one works. And then we have this piece. Maybe that goes there. We know that's going to go there. Okay, now I think I'm getting how she did this, why she did this way, the layers. And how we're going to put that one on. Let's try that. Okay, that works. Oh, I need another glue stick already. Goodness sake. Okay. Okay, that's working. And then we were going to put this on. Where was I putting this on? Now I feel like this is lost. Maybe that is all that I need. How are we going to do this? This was supposed to be in the middle. Yeah, like that. But it totally covers this piece up. You don't even notice it then, right? Okay. Okay, back to the frustration part of why am I covering up all this beautiful stuff? Okay, maybe that's better there. And put this here. Okay, now that I can deal with. Okay, that one works. So let's put this along here. Have you ever done this before? Is this just something new to me? I mean, I've added lace trim onto things, but just, you know, one little piece of lace, not making a whole journaling card. Oh, okay. And then we're going to put this on there. Yes, we are. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned to you, but I signed up for and am going to a in-person retreat with Leslie from 507 Willow House Journals and Donna from Twisted Paper Studios. They are going to be coming down here to Mount Dora, Florida, and it's in the end of August, and I have signed up. I'm actually excited to go. You know, first for me, it's going to be, let me hang out with some cool people that I watch all the time, right? Who love to do this as much as I do. And then I just decided to kind of treat myself because it'll be my birthday in September. And so, yeah, this is August, but it's kind of like my birthday present because I just got my surgery date for my foot surgery, and that's going to be in September, right before my birthday. And I'm going to be laid up for like 2 weeks, evidently. So I'm going to have to try and make videos in advance and then just have them, you know, all scheduled while I'm not able to. Okay. Getting the layering thing. Yep, I'm getting that. Getting it. Anyway, so yeah, that's the first time. That's the first time that the foot doctor can get me in September. Do you believe that? Okay, I started talking to her in January, and in January she told me I couldn't even come in till June. And I have to have foot surgery. I'm having a bunionectomy done on my right foot now. It's a long story, but I had a bunionectomy done in my 30s, and now for the last 10, almost 12 years, I cannot move my big toe on my right foot because I have arthritis so bad that my joint is frozen because there is nothing between the bone. It's bone on bone. So it can be very, very painful. And so the one suggestion, I have two options. One option is that she puts hardware in there. But if I get the hardware done, I am off my foot 100% for 6 weeks. And as I explained to her, well, that might be a good option, except it can't be my option due to the fact that I am a single person living by myself in Florida, and none of my kids could come and take care of me for that long, number one. And number two, I have 2 big dogs, and like, okay, I can't be off my right foot. I can't do that. That's just not going to happen. So the second option is what she's going to do. She's going to go in and do a cleanup for me, and then I will get, you know, my toe will bend a little bit. And if you don't have any foot problems, then you wouldn't even understand what I'm going to explain it to you though. So if your big toe does not bend, next time you walk, watch yourself or be aware of you kind of roll off your toe, and your toe has to bend for you to walk. I can't do it with my hands, okay? And if your toe doesn't bend, you don't walk right. So I don't walk right. So I walk weird, which then compounds the issues. And so that's the first big problem that I have with my foot. Okay, I'm talking and now I feel like I'm not making something. Okay, I like that. I like those two, but now we need something up here. Okay, let me go find some more lace. I have more beside me. I think I found the right pieces to finish this one up. So anyway, about my foot, the other thing is when I went to see her in January, I went to see her because with my puppy, Lexi, last year, about a year ago this time, I tripped on a toy of hers in my living room. Didn't even see it. It was a bone, a beige bone, and I got a beige carpet, so I didn't even see it, okay? And it really hurt. I felt like I damaged my second toe on my right foot. And so I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, then 2 days later, so I was like, Diane, put up all of her toys, get a basket, put her toys in a basket. So I did that. 2 days later, I walked through late at night in my living room, and I trip again on the same foot, the same toe, and now I am literally screaming in pain because I think probably, jammed it, I guess is the word I want to say, the first day. But the 2 days later, I broke it. I broke that toe. And I broke it, didn't find this out till later, right on the growth plate. So it's broken and cannot be fixed. So I didn't go to the doctor because in that at that point I was like, well, what are they going to do? There's nothing they can do. It's just a broken toe. I've never heard of anybody setting a toe or doing it. So I don't go anywhere. Well, then my foot starts swelling up. So my foot swells up. Oh, Diane, hold on. I'm sorry. Don't have this in there right. My foot starts swelling up on the top of my foot, like all the other toes to the right side of my foot. This is probably more than you ever wanted to know, but I'm just sharing. Anyway, so it starts getting really bad. Okay. And it starts to become painful. And now I really can't walk because the toe is broken. And now my foot's swollen. So I'm just thinking it's swollen because of what I had done to my foot. Well, by October, it hurt so bad. I went to this podiatrist that I had been going to. And he said, oh, yeah, you broke your toe. Nothing I can do about it, but I can give you an injection. So he gives me an injection, which, oh, that was great. It did help. It helped for like a week. And he said, but you really need I really need to fix your joint. And I was like, okay, whatever. So November comes now. I've been to the podiatrist. He's injected me, and I'm like, there is just something else wrong. Why is my foot so swollen? And it was so, I can't tell you how painful it was. Okay, it was swollen, and anyway, I go to my regular doctor, and he's like, well, and I told him what was going on with my foot, and he goes, I would prefer you go see an orthopedic surgeon. So I had to wait. So I go to see the orthopedic surgeon, see her in January. And she's like, oh, yeah, you definitely messed up your foot. And, she told me the two options that I just told you. And I'm like, well, okay. What about the swelling? And she goes, well, I don't really know anything about the swelling. I said, so if I let you operate my toe on my foot, are you going to like fix the swelling? She goes, no. And I was like, okay, then wait, why would I be doing this? So I said, yeah, that's kind of worse. So she sent me some more tests. I come back to the test, and again, the same thing. Well, we just need to do this and that. And I said, if you can't fix the swelling, I'm not going to do anything. She says, well, then why don't you go, here, I'm going to send you over to this physical therapy place. So I go to the physical therapy place, and I walk in there, and I was like, I have no idea why I'm here. And they said, well, you're here because Dr. Wade sent you. I'm like, well, I know that. I know she sent me here, but like, I don't know why she sent me to physical therapy. What's physical therapy going to do for this swelling? So they take me back to the person, and she said, so do you know why you're here? I'm like, no. And she's, well, Dr. Wade thinks you might have lymphedema. And I went, what? Okay. And so she looks at both my legs, and both of them are swollen. My ankle's swollen. It's very painful. And she goes, I hate to tell you, but you have lymphedema. And I was like, what? Okay, so no one ever told me this. And I have to step back for a second. About 5 years ago, before I gained the weight that I have right now, I had, like, my ankle was real, like this big knob on the side of my ankle. And I remember asking my GP, what is that? And he goes, oh, well, you're just overweight, you're a woman, you have too much salt, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, that's not really the answer. So it turns out, fast forward 5 years now, right, I'm into this physical therapy person, and she's like, well, your ankles, actually, you've had lymphedema in them for a long time, and they're at stage 2. And so there's really not too much I can do for you for your ankles, but I think we can fix your foot. So this started like 3 months ago now. So I've been going to physical therapy 3 times a week. I have these custom wraps around my legs that I wear every day. And I get a lymphedema massage 3 times a week. And then they finally just gave me, have you ever seen when you're in a hospital bed and they put those, I call them the pumpers, on your legs so that you don't get blood clots? Well, they authorized that I could get those for home use. So I have those, and I have to put those on my legs in the morning and at night. So I do them twice a day. Well, oh my gosh, my foot is like my foot and ankle are like normal. So you don't think I'm happy. Well, coinciding with that, I made a decision that I really needed to go on a diet. And I was going to be really serious, and I was really going to do it. And I decided to end the video with showing you how I was going to actually use one of those lace pieces. So I've chosen this one because, again, this journal has a lot of white, even though I've got some beige in it. And I think it came out really, really good. For right now, I'm just attaching it with a bullnose clip. what I did was I took the cards, the ATC cards that I have for the Bible study, and I basically cut it in half, and I added the speak without accusing, which is what we're talking about for James 1:19. That's our third verse now. And then the bottom part of it, where did I just put it? Oh, I put it over here. Okay, so you could use this just as a card. It totally works. You can cut it, you can trim it, you can do lots of fun things with those. I just wanted to show you that. So let's look at this last verse for my first signature, and that is speak without accusing, right? And it's James 1:19. And that verse actually says, understand this, my dear brothers and sisters, you must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. And I don't know about you, but I will say this is probably one of the hardest things for me to do. I broke this up because I went and got my notes, and I got some really good notes in the summary from the Google part, and I ended up just typing it and having fun typing like some words that I think I want to pull out to remember. So one of the things, they're kind of like sayings, right? They're condensing what the Bible verse actually says and helping me get smart about it. Like, here's this one. Wise people know that more wisdom can be gained by listening, observing, and not rushing to judgment. Okay, yeah, it's something I got to work on. So that's one of the messy cards from there, from the kit. And put that in there. And then I made this little tuck spot and used one of the pretty rose flowers on there. And you can see what I did on this. This was a tag that I had collaged, and so then I just added a black and white flower. I used the sticker that I made for Speak Without Accusing, and then just a little bit. So that's what starts us learning about speaking. And then this piece is in the kit, and it has 2 cards, and I actually backed those with cardstock, so they would be hardier. Used a little bit of, yeah, Diane. Okay, y'all know what this stuff is, and I just can't even think of the name of it. Okay, let's go back to what I learned from the verse. So the other thing these are things I need to remember. Train myself to wait for the whole story before I dive in. Oh my gosh, I'm so guilty of that. And that true faith leads to obedience and transformation. Okay, so those are some 2 points there. But let's talk about this for a second. So I am an extremely analytical person. I'm constantly looking up stuff. I love to be an expert on things. Not like I'm the expert of the world, but I just really want to know, well, what does that mean? And in reference to what? And I have all these questions. I'm always looking up stuff. I'm an avid reader. This has been my entire life. But what happens to me when people, like, let's say, an example, a friend be like, oh, I've had a really bad day and I'm just really upset. And I was like, well, what's going on? And they start talking. And here's what happens to me. Does this happen to you? So my brain, I'm listening, and then my brain starts observing and processing. Well, have they thought about this? Have they thought about that? In that sense, I'm more like the masculine trait of fixing things. Okay, I love to do that, which is not good. So I have to remind myself, is that like an issue for you? Or am I only the alone person? So I put that on that page. We flip over here, and then here's our gorgeous lace. And let's just go over what I did is I ended up from Got Questions. They have really good, you need to go read this one. When you plug in James 1:19, what does that mean? I highlighted a few things. So I printed it on white paper, and then I stapled it together, and then I put some of that new black and white washi tape on it. So Got Questions says, human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. So we have to be so careful with our anger. I know growing up, I had a pretty traumatic childhood. I had a lot of anger. I think I'm much better now. I hope I'm much better because God wants me to be righteous, right? He desires me to be, well, for me to be righteous, I got to get rid of anger. I can't speak from anger. I can't react from anger. That's really what it's talking about. And so in this verse, it says, be quick to listen. So I have to train myself to wait for the whole story before diving in. So that's what I kind of pulled out and did that, because I need to remember that, right? And then it talks about, James goes on to talk about the tongue. Oh my gosh, please. The tongue also is a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. Okay, that's kind of scary. The mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Well, that just depresses me. And so for me, I am very articulate. That is please don't hear me, I'm not boasting. That is a talent that God gave me. And I was able to use that in my career because I went into sales. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I talked to doctors and pharmacists and hospital people. And so you had to be pretty articulate because you had to speak the medical language. And so I did that for like 12 years. Then I went into the computer world, into sales again, but I sold services. And so I talked to all these IT guys. So speaking is easy for me. Writing was always very difficult. Isn't that funny? God has me write things now in my old age. Anyway, so this is how my tongue is a fire, because speaking comes so naturally for me, and I'm an extrovert. And I love to talk to people, and I'll be in a store, and whoever's checking me out, I'll look and see if I see their name. I try to come up with some way to connect with that person. And my children, when they were small, they were like, Mom, do you have to talk to everybody? And I was like, yeah, I really like that. See, I was a natural first for a sales position. Anyway, so my tongue has gotten me in trouble a lot of times in my life. So I'm trying to focus now as an old lady on listening more than I talk. Of course, I make videos and I'm talking there, right? The only way I can listen to you is if you give me comments. Okay, wise people have learned. I read that one to you. I thought that was just so good. And here's a good question. How many mistakes could have been avoided had we only listened instead of talked? Is that true for you? You got any example of where that's happened in your life? So it says, most of us are not naturally quick to listen, exactly, but we can train ourselves to be better listeners. Good listening is active. It engages with the speaker. It understands the speaker's perspective, even if we disagree. So that's the notes that I got. And as I said, I think what I'm going to do, this is the end of the first signature. For right now, I'm going to put that on there because I don't want to put a pocket because I don't know that it'll slide in and out. We'll try that and see if that works. Now, I'm going to end this video, but I wanted to just kind of show you a couple things that I have gone back and done off camera since you saw the video. So you saw that, you've seen the buttons, we did that together. Let's see. Oh, I had this piece that we made the other day in this pocket, and it kept flipping out. And so I decided to flip it over and just put it here for the other Bible verse. And then I took the little envelope and I put that in there with a note about James 1:19. Okay, so that's kind of, that's there for me. And then I moved that there. And then the other part that I did when we made this the other day, also, I ended up paper clipping that on there. And I stamped this tag. I bought this set off of Amazon. I really like it because this is how I can make my own tags out of my own digital papers, right? So I stamped this on a piece of my yellow paper, and then I stamped with the little teeny tiny alphabets, James 1:19. Took one of the postcards, and here's another one that I read. True religion is expressed in our actions. So these are things I'm trying to remember, right? And then I made a yellow tag. Cleanse ourselves from harmful thoughts and actions because we must humbly accept God's word. Okay, so that's in there. And I clipped it on because, oh yeah, I got a yellow paper clip. Because on the back, I stuck a little tab in there, and I liked that part. Okay, so I'm using a big yellow paper clip that goes there. And then this goes on the other side of the paper clip. So that's what I've done so far. Now off camera, I am going to fill more of the first signature up. Not more with specific Bible verses because I already put the 3 in the first signature. So we're on target for that. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video, that you are going to try making some lace tags, that you're going to make them in your style, because this video, I'm going to tell you the thing that I learned from this. Again, it's good to be inspired by all the crafters that I watch, but I must find my own style as I make the things that they have prompted me to make, they've inspired me to make. So please like this video, and please share the video. And I want to hear your comments. What about this verse? Is this an issue? Have you got anything, got any words of wisdom for me? And I will tell you more stories about my health maybe in the next video, but I want to end this one at this point. So blessings till the next video in our Pink Parfait Junk Journal.